Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillah. It's a blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He has enabled us to come again to participate in this course. As we can see, some brothers weren't able to come. This goes to show that without the tawfiq from Allah and the ability from Allah, one cannot participate in such things. So we should do shukr, inshallah. So we go straight to the first lesson, inshallah, of book 2. So if you open up book 2, the first on page number 2, it talks about gender. Now before I start to delve into that, I just want to recap one thing that we did in the previous book, but we didn't manage to do it, revise it in the previous lesson, which was this harf. We talked about the ism, we talked about fail, and the last thing that we didn't talk about was harf, but we had covered it in the previous book. So harf obviously means a particle, and we explained what harf was. Is that harf is a word in which there is it needs another word to explain its meaning and does not carry any tense, meaning the three tenses that we have. Harf are of two categories. One is amil, one is ghayru amil. Amil means effective causa. It changes the haraka and the diacritical mark of the following noun that comes after it. And you have ghayru amil, where it has no effect on the noun which comes after that particle or proposition. So amil, I'll give an example here, like fil bayti. Fi is an harf. Fi is an harf. Inshallah, obviously it will come again in this book. We'll explain, but for the purpose of revision and the purpose of going over everything, I'll explain this. So fil bayt, as you can see, fi is a harf, and al bayti is a word which is a noun. Now if you can see here that the ta at the end of this word al bayti has a kasra on it. Okay, now all words, all nouns by nature will come with a rafa, meaning a dhamma. Okay, dhamma, pesh, whatever you want to call it. So as you can see, the dhamma which normally is on the ta when it's independent by itself, not attached to anything, that has changed from dhamma to kasra. From dhamma to kasra. So from al-baytu to fil bayti. So that is, as you can see, that kasra is there because of fi. Fi has changed the haraka on the ta. So all nouns when it's by itself will be in the state of marfu', meaning in the state of having rafa on it. Okay, do you understand what rafa is? Dhamma, do you understand what dhamma means? Okay, another word for dhamma is rafa. Okay, another word for kasra is jar. Yes, another word for fatha is nasab. Okay, so if you have those done, sometimes I might use different words, so I don't want you to get confused. It's just different words for the same meaning. And what do you call that in English then? When you have different words for the same meaning? Synonyms. So that's what it is really. So this normally, every noun when it's detached by itself, by nature, will be in the state of rafa, meaning it will have rafa on it, it will have pesh, it will have dhamma on it. So in this case you can see it's having a kasra. The reason why it's having a kasra is because fi has been attached to this word al-bayti, which means in the house. Okay, so al-baytu by itself would mean the house. Fil bayti would now give the meaning in the house. So if I was to add another word before that, and I were to say Khalidun fil bayti, means Khalid is in the house. Yes? So bayti has a kasra because of fi. So this fi is called amil, meaning it is a causer, it is a changer, it has an effect. It's an effective harf. And here we have waw between Zaydun and Bakrun. Ja'a Zaydun wa Bakrun. Zayd and Bakr has come. Zayd and Bakr has come. Now waw is also a harf, but as you can see, it has no effect on Bakrun. Bakr, which has dammatain, a tanween, dammatain. Okay, now that is still in its normal state. Like I said, every noun in its normal state would have damma or dammatain. Okay, so has any change on that? No. So this waw has no change. I'll give another example of thumma. So if I was to say Ja'a Zaydun thumma Bakrun, Zayd has come, then Bakr. Then thumma means then. Okay, again, if thumma was there, Bakrun, you will still pronounce Bakrun, meaning in its normal state. So these are the two different that I thought I'll explain, which we had done in the previous book, but we didn't cover it in our revision in previous week. Now, in book 2, the first topic they've touched is gender. You have two genders, one is masculine and feminine. Okay, so in Arabic, again you have masculine and feminine. Masculine in Arabic is called mudhakkar, and feminine is called muannath. So to pronounce it is mudhakkar and feminine muannath. Yes. So whenever you want to refer to a femininity of something or masculinity to something, then this is the word that you would use. Now, there are certain signs of femininity. Certain signs of femininity. You don't have any signs of masculinity, because every word by its nature should be masculine, unless there are certain reasons, certain signs, or because Arabs have normally used it as masculine, as a masculine word. Okay? So here, this is what they're going to be talking about here. All nouns in Arabic, if you can switch it off. There, right there, use that. Switch it off. Ah, you switched on. And the other one?
No, it's outside.
Is it outside? There's a switch outside as well. Yeah, they'll switch it back on, don't worry. Can you not see on top? Is no switches on top? Top of the wall? Wall, everything? Huh? Yeah, it's finished anyhow. How's the door? I think we just wait, let the Azan finish. Okay, gender. All nouns in Arabic are either masculine or feminine, no matter whether they are humans, animals, or objects. Okay, so all the Arabic words will fall into these two categories, no matter to what they belong to. Is it a living thing or non-living object? Okay, unlike in English, there is no word for it in Arabic. All nouns are referred to as he or she. We're not talking about the translation, we're talking about the words in Arabic. Obviously, if you was to translate, you would say it. So for example, if somebody was to say, هَذَا كِتَابٌ هُوَ صَغِيرٌ, this is a book, it is small. In translation, you would say it. But what they're trying to say by is he or she is that it's either masculine or feminine in the Arabic language. So there is no something in the middle that is neither masculine or feminine. There's nothing like that. Now, before we delve into that more, I've got something here for you. Alamatut ta'nith, the signs of femininity. Remember, if it doesn't have any of these signs, then you would, by default, understand that it is masculine for the purpose of rules and regulation. Are we clear with that? By default, every word will be classified as masculine, unless there are certain signs that will tell you that it is feminine. Okay? Or because Arabs are known to use these words as feminine, which again I will explain. So alamatut ta'nith, the signs of ta'nith, femininity. Ta'i marbuta, a ta which is attached. Rabata yarbutu means to attach. So a ta which is attached to the end of a noun. Okay, that's one. I'll give you examples on the following side of the board. You got alif maqsura, where you will see an alif which is standing up. Basically, you know the long fatha? We say, what do we say? Kharazaba, that's it in Urdu. Yeah, but those who don't understand Urdu. The dagger type fatha. Has anyone see that? Yeah? You see it in the Quran? Yeah? Standing up? Here, if they have an example here, no examples here, but I've got examples on the following side, which I will give you. Another is alif mamduha, where the alif is stretched. The alif is stretched. So, like for example, bayda is a big mud, isn't it? For alif. Bayda lin-nadirin. You heard in the Quran. So bayda, the alif is stretched, and in alif maqsura, that's the opposite. Maqsura means to shorten, is where you don't stretch. Isa, Musa, Isa, you don't say Isa, do you? Although you stretch it slightly, but compared to the alif mamduha, it's short. That's why it's called alif maqsura. Or we call it fathatun tawila or dagger, whatever you want to say. So these are all signs of what? Femininity. Any words referring to woman. If there's any word that's referring to woman, is also classified as woman. That's common sense. For example, Hindun. You know the wife of Abu Jahl? Her name was, what was her name? Hind. And what did she do? It was Abu Sufyan, was it? Yeah, Abu Sufyan. And then basically what she did to Hamza radiallahu ta'ala and all that. So we know that story. Hind, again, is the name of a woman. Arus means bride. Can a bride be a male? I don't know, maybe nowadays with today what's happening, it could change, but normally, by nature, normally a bride is a woman. Yeah? So arus. So if you was to attach to this particular word, you would use those rules which are defined for women, for feminine. Names of countries is referred to, even in English. She went to war. What does it say? Like if England went to war, they refer she went. They don't say he or something. They refer countries as same like in Arabic. So if you go from the Inglaterra, which means England, okay, As-Sin, which means China, you know, Philistine. So if you were to refer anything to that, you would use feminine name of countries. Parts of bodies in pairs. Any part of the body which comes in pair will be referred as mu'annas, feminine. Are we clear? Alif maqsura, the noun which has a kharazabr on it, a long fatha on it. Okay. So if I turn the board now, have you got it all down? Can I turn it around? Or have you written it? Huh? It's fine here. So now I've given you I'll give you the examples of one by one. So if you got it down, it is down. You want to check if that's okay?
Yes.
This is still pointing towards it, is it? Are you fine?
Yeah.
قال هي عصاي أتوكأ عليه. Musa, this is my stick. أتوكأ عليها. I lean on it. وأهش بها على غنمي. And I get my goats together with it. I'm not referring to goats, don't worry. But وأهش بها على غنمي. It's sunnah to use a stick for Jumu'ah to do khutbah. Abi, okay?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't have a stick.
For some masjids they have them. They have
Yeah.
proper sort of thing, don't they?
Yeah.
Which can actually-
The first one. Malikatun. Ibnatun. Can you see the ta at the end? Malik means king. Now they've attached a ta to it. Malikatun means queen. Ibnun means son. You attach a ta to it. Ibnatun means daughter. Okay, so this ta is called ta'i marbuta. Why? It's because this ta has been attached. It's not part of the original word. You understand? The original word is malikun, ibnun. So ta'i marbuta, the name where it comes from, is ta which has been attached to it. That's why it's called ta'i marbuta. Okay? So here, that's the first example. The second example, husna, sughra. The names of women?
Yes.
Yes? I'm sure you must come across Husna and Sughra. Has anyone come across Husna and Sughra?
Yeah, both.
Oh, you come both of them. Subhanallah. So he's well advanced. He knows all these examples. Right. As you can see, the long fatha there. Can you see? Sughra there. This is example of the signs of ta'anis, of femininity. The masculine would be Ahsan. Who's heard of the name Ahsan? Ahsan means the most, well, can mean that, it can mean also the most beautiful. Yes? And for the femininity would be Husna. Who's heard of Asghar? I'm sure Dr. Asghar is famous. Okay? The femininity of Asghar is Sughra. You learn that as we go along with how to change the words and etc. So Husna means beautiful, Sughra means small.
So they're basically Aleph Maqsura then.
They call it Alif Maqsura because it's a short Alif. You don't say Husna, do you? No, unless there are certain places where you would stretch it in Tajweed, but normally you won't stretch it. Okay, number 3, Alif Mamduha. As you can see here, Zahra'u. This alif is stretched. Zahra'u, radiant. Do you have heard of anybody's woman name called Zahra? Yeah? So Zahra means radiant. So a radiant woman. The fourth one, the fourth category I explained. What was that? Names of women. Ummun, mother. Can a mother be a male? I don't know. Today's thingy, but they call them two daddies, don't they? Two daddies. One's a daddy, one's a father. Subhanallah, what the times we are in, testing times. Okay, ummun, mother. Yeah? So ummun, because this referred to mother, mother is always female, so you will always classify as female. Arusun, what did I say? Bride. Bride again is always feminine. Again, so you would always use, so if you were to say the bride has come, you won't say ja'a, you say ja'at. Understand? If you were to say ummun, mother hit the son. So ضربت الأم ابنتها or ibnaha, whatever. Number 5, names of countries. Explained, didn't we? Names of countries written there. Misr. Misr. Who's out of Misr? Egypt. Misr. Rome. Who's out of Rome? Rome. Who's out of Rome? Anybody heard of Rome? Yeah? Rome. Number 6. Remember we spoke about the pairs of the bodies, parts of the body which come in pairs. Yadun. Normally you get 2 hands. Yeah? Unless you're gifted with another one. Aynun. Normally you get 2. Unless you're Dajjal, you only got 1. Okay? And all other body parts. But with those body parts that come in singular, like lisan, tongue, it's masculine. Anfun, nose. Yeah, 2 nose or 1 nose? 1. Ra'sun, head. 1 head or 2 head? So these are all masculine. No, if they come in singular, it's masculine. If they come in pairs, then. The last 3 are known as mu'annas sima'i. The last 3 are known as mu'annas sima'i, meaning it's been heard from the Arabs like that. There's no rules. Because language originally is taught from one person to another, and it's heard. There's no rules. The rules have been formulated afterwards. It's not like you got a set of rules, I can now make a language. No, it's the language is there, then they try to make rules out of that so that it's easy for who? For the non-native speaker of that language to understand. The rules and regulations is not for the natives. That's why how many people in English we learnt grammar? We hardly learnt grammar. Did we? I can't remember learning grammar in school. Man, maybe now that they start teaching grammar, but normally they don't teach grammar. Am I correct or not? They started now.
When they used to call Yasin.
No.
It's not as much as now.
Not as much as.
Even in Pakistan, they give you a thick.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. That's non-native language for Pakistani people. I'm talking about in England. In England, they've hardly. They started teaching now, but before they used to hardly teach it. Anyhow, if they did teach, that's good news. Right. Mu'annas sima'i is, as I was saying, mu'annas sima'i means those words which are used as feminine but are not attached to any rules. Are not? Basically, it's been heard from the Arabs, they use it like that. That's it. That's what it is. Even the rest. They have, although these are all being heard by the Arabs, but because you can formulate a rule for them, that's why they just said this. Okay. The first 3, they come under rules. Like you can add tie marbuta to it, from ahsan to husna, asqar to sughra, zahra, azhar to sahra. So these are rules that you can use to make it from masculine to feminine, right? But these 3, you can't. There's no rules. It's basically been heard by the Arabs, the native Arabs. They use it like that. And below, these are some couple of the examples where these words don't fit into any of this category, but yet still used as feminine. Like ardun, earth. The earth that we live in. It's called ardun, or the earth that we pick up from the ground. Shamsun. Shamsun means? Sun. Again, that's used as feminine. Narun. Nar? Fire. So there's many other words. I've just given you some examples of where these words, although they're used as feminine, but do not come under any previous category. So these are some of the information regarding gender. Yeah? Shall we break up for Salah? Inshallah. Inshallah, if also the sisters can perform the salah in their rooms, inshallah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So, I hope you've understood the examples and the signs of ta'nis, femininity. So, here they've given some examples of muzakkar and mu'annas, masculine and feminine. So, here they've got, I think, 8 examples of masculine and 8 examples of feminine. So, kitabun, a book. So as you can see, kitabun, it doesn't have any ta marbuta, does it? Okay, so, and also it doesn't have, what do you call it, alif maqsura or alif mamduda. So, straight away we can assume that it is muzakkar. Daftar. Daftarun, an exercise book. Qalamun, a pen. Maktabun, a desk. Kursiyun, a chair. Sunduqun, a box. Miqassun, scissors. Hasubun, a computer. So these are all muzakkar. Then you got feminine. Sabburatun, a blackboard. Tawilatun, a table. Dabbasatun, a stapler. Barrayatun, a pencil sharpener. Mimhatun, an eraser, rubber. Mistaratun, a ruler. Haqibatun, a bag. Kuratun, a ball. So at the end, said, did you notice how all the feminine words end in ta marbuta? So here they've given examples of all those words which has a ta marbuta attached to it. Then we got, look at the following words which are all to do with the same, all to do with home. So bab, so again, here you've got mix here. Babun, a door. So again, babun, does it have ta marbuta to it? No. Does it have alif mamduda to it? No. Does it have alif maqsura to it? No. Is it any the bodily parts which are dual? No. Is it a name of a country? No. A name of a woman? No. So we can assume it's muzakkar. Baytun, again, same. Khizanatun, a cupboard. Now, what would you call this? Is this feminine or is this mu'annas or muzakkar? Mu'annas. Why? Because it has ta marbuta. Ghassalatun, a washing machine. Is that muzakkar or mu'annas? Mu'annas. Why? Marbuta, yes. Quflun, a lock. Is that muzakkar or mu'annas? Why?
Nothing to qualify it.
Right. So it doesn't. None of these rules apply to it. So we assume it is masculine by default. Midhya'un, a radio. Again, muzakkar muannas. Muzakkar. Sham'atun, a candle. Muzakkar muannas. Hatifun, a telephone. Muzakkar muannas. Miftahun, a key. Muzakkar muannas. Arikatun, a sofa. Muzakkar muannas. Thallajatun, a fridge. Muzakkar muannas. Sarirun, a bed. Muzakkar muannas. Wisadatun, a pillow. Muzakkar muannas. Sa'atun, a clock, watch. Muzakkar muannas. Shubbakun, or nafidatun, a window. Muzakkar muannas. One of each. One of each. Mikwatun, an iron. Muzakkar, muannath. Okay. Here you got a little exercise. If you can do it now, in the next 5 minutes, you got a list here. Okay. The 8. You got 16. 8 of them is going to be muzakkar, 8 is going to be muannath. Okay. So from here, write down which are masculine, write which are feminine. It's very easy.
So it can't be a normal ta. Does that make sense?
No, yeah. Yeah, normal ties is called the long tie. It's called tie mamduda. So that's a long tie. It's not attached. It's part of the makeup of the word. This has been attached to it.
How come the window?
So-
Window.
Yeah.
Musabakun,
Shubbakun
Subakun, and
nafidatun.
Nafidatun.
Yeah. So it's basically a synonym. You can just 2 words. They're given 2 words for the same meaning. So one will be masculine, one will be feminine. Yeah, so if you use the feminine one, then obviously you got to treat it as feminine, and otherwise the other word is masculine.
You know that. So the Dhammatine at the end of the tars or alarms or all the other words.
Yeah.
They have a funky version of it.
Oh, don't worry. It's all the same thing.
Is it the same thing?
Yeah. That's Dhammatan. They written like that, so it's fine. As long as you understood it's Dhammatan, that's the main thing. Yeah. There's no ordained way of writing it. They have different ways of writing it. Is that on?
Yeah.
It's on, is it? You checked it?
I don't think it's Arabic writing. I'm struggling to get forward.
Also, the sisters, if they can do the exercise on page number 3, the exercise regarding masculine and feminine, there's 2 boxes there. So if they can fill in those words which belong to masculine and fill in those lines with feminine words. Are we all done?
You know what you're saying? If the dot is attached, come on. You know, Wisada to the pillow.
Yeah.
That's Muanna, right?
Yep.
But that doesn't matter if the ta is not attached there, right? It's
I mean, it's been added on. The ta has been added on. When I mean attached, doesn't mean it's attached to the actual word itself. I mean, it's been added on. Normally. Sometimes it's not added on, but it's there. Sometimes they call this ta mudawwara. Mudawwara means round. Are we all done?
Yes.
It's okay?
Okay.
Is everyone done? Can we have a little shot? Okay, if I start from my right. Who shall I start from? Zubair. Okay, what do you write for number 2?
Number 2 for masculine.
The masculine, yes.
Baytun.
Baytun. Number 3 for masculine.
Gaflun.
Quflun.
Gaflun.
Number 4.
For masculine, Mithyarun.
Midya'un.
Mithyarun.
Number 5. Hatifun. Number 6.
Miftahun.
Miftahun. Number 7.
I didn't do in order, so
Just name one what they haven't named.
I didn't record those they said so.
Huh?
I didn't write down those days. This one, okay. Sarayur.
Sarirun.
Sariyur.
Sarirun.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's how you pronounce it. Sarirun.
Sarirun.
Okay. Number 8.
Shubbakun.
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 Okay, feminine number 2.
غسالة.
Huh?
غسالة.
Ghassalatun.
غسالة.
Ghassalatun.
غسالة.
No, ghassalatun.
غسالة.
Ghassalatun.
غسالة.
That's how you pronounce it. Number 3 at the back.
Sham'atun.
Sham'atun, yes. Number 4.
ثلاجة.
Thallajatun. Okay. Number 5. Zubair.
Arikatun.
Arikatun. Number 6.
Sadatun.
Wisadatun. Number 7.
Sa'atun.
Sa'atun. Number 8.
نافذة.
Mafidatun. Very good. Did we do that?
Well, it would have been the
It could have been, yeah.
Yeah.
Either.
Oh, you know. Okay. You had a choice. Right. If we go to page number 4. This page is talking about هذا and هذه. هذا and هذه is a pronoun. Okay? And it's normally referred to nouns. هذا is used for masculine and هذه is the feminine form. So if you want to point out to a noun which is masculine, then you would use the word هذا. If you want to point out to a word which is feminine, you would use هذه. Although on هذه they wrote a fatha, it's supposed to be a long fatha. On both of them, really. Can you see it? They wrote the normal fatha. But that's wrong. It's supposed to be the long fatha. You know? You know the long fatha?
What was it? I don't understand.
Look at the word hada.
Yeah, one's
Ha-
got the alif after the kha.
No. If you look on top of the ha itself, what does it have?
Regular.
Oh, gotcha.
Fatha, isn't it?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah? So that's a short. You should read hada. That's wrong, isn't it? It should be a long. It should be like this. So how it's written, how it's supposed to be written, I don't know why. Is that printing error? Is it, or is it because it's done by computer and they can't do the?
It says here.
It's like this, but it's written like that.
Yeah, that's a different thing. It's on top of it. It should have this at least. Should have the long fatha on it.
Says it's written like that.
Yeah, but it's written like this. But I'm talking about the diacritical marks. The diacritical mark on the hada is wrong.
But they've extended it on there with the extra alif there to say it's pronounced as haza rather than.
Yeah, but what we're saying, if
It might be that they
If-
couldn't put it properly.
yeah, the thing is, what it's saying is that when you come to write it, although it's pronounced like this, hada, you should not write it like this.
Yeah.
Hada and hada is pronounced same.
Same, yeah.
But when you come to write it, you got to write it like this. Okay, and if you're going to put a diacritical mark on it, then you have to put this one. The long
The
fatha.
wrong one.
Yeah, the long one.
Like it says wrong in this one.
Yeah, they just put the normal fatha.
Yeah. that's
Okay.
yeah.
Might be wrong, you know, but I think I've seen it written in the Quran, the way they've written it as well.
No, don't normally write a long fatha. Yeah,
Must be wrong.
well they should do.
Check it tomorrow and I'll read it.
Yeah. I'm sure we have a Quran here somewhere. Do we? All these books for us. 1 to 4, here we go. There we go, there we go, there we go. There we are. So, oops.
And that refers to this.
Yeah, it's actually written like the one here. I lost it now. With the alif.
Yeah, with the long alif.
Yeah. Without the extended.
Look, here we go.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
Can you see it?
Yeah, I can see very clearly.
Huh? Sorry?
Yeah, I can see very clearly. Very clear.
Yeah?
We can see it.
Finally, guys, yeah? Well, you got your goals, Zu.
I verified.
Look at the hada.
Here it is.
Yes.
Yeah, yes.
It's got the long alif, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Bottom right corner.
Hada. Can you see that? The long alif on it? It is straight round. Straight round.
What in Arabic?
Yeah, that's right.
Sahirun.
What's the long leaf called in Arabic? What's it called?
You can call it alif maqsura, or you can call it fathatun tawila, or you can call it fathatun qa'ima. It depends how you want to describe it, really. Fathatun tawila means long fatha. Fathatun qa'ima means standing fatha. And alif mamduda means, maqsura means alif which is not stretched.
I think it could probably be a printing error because there aren't any other in the book either. So it could be just like a printing.
Yeah. I think it's the way the,
It's just confusing. Yeah,
sorry?
the way the book.
Yeah. But the thing is, when you get to learn Arabic language, soon you're going to be pronouncing without the diacritical marks.
Yeah.
Like when you see the word baytun, you would know that the first letter, ba, has a fatha on it. The middle letter, ya, has a sukoon on it. And the last letter, depending on what's before it, will have whatever mark.
This is some Quran which I have seen. There is no zayers about it.
Yeah. Before it didn't have any. Arabic language, you pick up an Arabic newspaper, would you have all the fatha kasra on them on it? To you, probably like Chinese, what's this all about? But if you learn the Arabic language itself, with all the rules of grammar, you'll be able to read it.
Yeah. Because I have been given a Quran, but I can't read it.
They thought you're an Arab, you see, you look like an Arab. Maybe.
That one I can read it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So back to the actual hada and hadihi. So hada is used for masculine form and hadi is used for
Feminine.
feminine.
Again, with the haza, he would have the long.
The long fatha. Okay. Hada is pronounced as it were written with an alif. Hada. And hadihi is pronounced as if it were written with an alif. Hadihi. Understand? So make sure you learn the correct spelling. The spelling, when you come to spell, you spell like this, not like this. Understand? In Arabic, when we want to say this is followed by a noun, the word we use for this is will change depending on whether the noun is masculine or feminine. So if you want to say this is, so in English you say this is. There's no like, if it's a woman, it changes. This is man, this is a man, this is a woman. This is always going to be same. But when it comes to Arabic, no, it's different. For masculine, you're going to use hadha, and for feminine, you're going to use هذه. So that's what it is. So in Arabic you need to know what the words, which category they belong to. So you can write, or you can write or read the appropriate words belonging to that group. So that's very important. That's why we're learning about masculine and feminine. هذا is used for masculine noun. So if the noun is a masculine, you're going to use هذا. So kitabun is هذا kitabun. Okay, Quran, masculine and feminine. هذا قرآن. So Quran is masculine. Again here, هذه مسطرة. مسطرة, feminine or masculine? Feminine. Why is it feminine? تاء مربوطة to it. So are we going to use هذا or هذه? Yeah. هذه مسطرة. هذه مسطرة. Exercise number 2. Complete the sentences below by adding هذا or هذه to match the gender following the noun. They give you an example 1. هذا حاسوب. This is a computer. Okay? So I want you to write. Should you write هذا or هذه? You know the rules, so apply to it now. So a bit of practice as we go along. We leave it afterwards, it never gets done. Come back next lesson, nothing done. So let's do it here. Sisters as well, if they can do on page 4 the exercise 2, where you need to attach هذا or هذه to the words. So just apply the rules and apply and use the words, whichever word you need to attach to the following word. Also, those who finished that exercise 2, exercise 3 is extra. Exercise 4, you fit the right sentence with the right picture. So if you can do that as well. If you need to refer to the words before, like what is a football? Look behind, it says kuratun. So here, and you've got the sentence here, هذه kuratun. So right under the football, هذه كرة. So what do you call a watch? You look back. So it's all there. You've got 2 columns of words. It's all there. All you have to do is just attach the right sentence to the right picture. Also, sisters, they can do the same thing as well, inshallah. And then we're done for today.
you switch to whiteboard?
Switch it.
Oh, they have it on the other. Yeah, sorry. Bad words.
Which one? What do you want to know?
Number 3. What
No.
is it?
Alif mamduha.
What's the second letter?
Mamdu-
after lam or
Da.
alif?
Sorry, mamduda. Huh?
It's fa.
Alif maqsura.
No, not that one.
Which one? Here.
Yeah.
Any words referring to women.
Third one.
Third one.
It's got a bit rubbed out. It looks like a lam. But
That's
it's not.
yeah,
That's
at the
alif.
lamp and then
Oh, it is a lam.
Yeah, alif. Alif.
That might be a dal.
What's that?
Looks like a heart.
What's that?
The, so alif must do.
Alif maqsura.
No, not that one. Alif must
Alif mamduda.
do that. Oh, so it's a dal before the ha.
Mamdu dal then wow.
Yeah.
That's a dal and ta.
That's a dal. Okay. Yeah.
Let's spin that together. Alamat. Alamat means signs. This means alamat ta'nith, signs of femininity.
Yeah, I wrote the English.
She write the Arabic as well.
Yeah.
That's the whole point.
Like, that's not writing that then. I'd be here all night.
Don't worry, we're nearly finished. Are we all done? Can we go over them?
Got the explanation to verse 2. So obviously Ta Marbuda is when you got ta at the end, and then short alif is the second one. Third one, what's alif mamduda after?
Zahra.
Sakhara Salah. Okay.
It's got the alif. The hamza after it. Okay, shall we have a little go? Okay, let's start with Zubair. Zubair, let's do the picture ones. Number 1, what do you write?
Is this exercise 2?
Exercise 4.
Exercise 4. Number 1 is
It's all there. It's all there. You just have to write the attached to the attached thingy.
هذه كرة.
هذه كرة. Very good. Number 2.
هذا عاطف.
هذا هاتف. Very good. Number 3.
هذه ثلاجة.
Very good. Number 4.
هذا شباك.
شباك. Very good. Number 5.
هذه مكواة.
مكوات. Very good. Number 6.
هذه
أريكة. أريكة. Very good. Number 7.
هذه ساعة.
ساعة. Very good. Number 8.
هذا حاسوب.
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 Number 9.
هذا قلم.
Very good. Number 10.
هذا مفتاح.
مفتاح. Very good. Number 11.
هذه حقيبة.
حكيمة. Very good. Number 12.
هذه غسالة.
غسالة. Very good. So you got the hang of it. Alhamdulillah. Also, the good news, you know what you've achieved now. You've achieved to make an Arabic sentence. MashaAllah, within 2 lessons, we started learning how to write and read Arabic sentences. So you can go home and point out whatever you want and say هذا and then whatever. Or هذه, you know. So inshallah, this is it. So inshallah, next lesson we'll be doing about adjectives, sifat, and wow. Remember we did some particles, and if we have time, we will also do about asking questions. What are the words you need to ask? Inshallah. Sorry? What's that?
What's saying that any words referring to women, not on the board?
Oh, here. Any words referring to women? Is there any question before we close the daftar?
Yeah, can you use the board again, please? So I can write some examples.
Okay.
ممدوحة.
Mamduda. It's a dal, that is.
We've got the pictures of them, so they're going to be online as well.
Hope you guys not find it too difficult. If there's anything you don't understand, please ask. And do not be shy from asking, inshallah. Okay, shall we call it a day? Call it a night? Or what we want to say? Inshallah. See you next week, inshallah. Wednesday, same time.